Hey everybody, my name's Steph if you're new here, and I talk about battling addictions, mental health, and I occasionally draw on here. Um, so, I have recently, something, I had like this brain fart, and I thought I needed to share it. Um, I have been trying to really like win the battle with food addiction. I'd say that has been my longest addiction. Um, since I was about 6 years old, I have been eating for comfort. Um, I'm gonna say a million times because it's been a while since I've been on here. I have been getting better. I have been getting better, but I still have moments that stress will get to me and I will eat all my comfort foods, most of which are not something any of us should be eating, especially on the regular. Um, I'm trying to have a totally different, hold on. I'm trying to develop a different mindset around food. Um, I guess I don't really need to go into my beliefs on food. That's not really what this is about. It is about the cycle of addiction and beating that cycle. But I have been actively trying to do this with food probably since 2020. Like really shifting my thought process on food. I've been through the whole dieting and trying different stuff most of my adult life, but um, really recognizing that the problem with my weight is because I am addicted to food. I've been really trying to face that since 2020, and man, it has been a hard one. And I cave and I give in, and it has had me wondering, why am I stuck in this loop? I was like, all the things over the past decade that I have managed to overcome, all the addictions, the addiction to kratom, the addiction to pain pills, the addiction to smoking cigarettes, just to name a few. Why don't I get it? Why do I have to continue to everything I'm trying to beat? Why is it a damn loop? I was just so mad at myself one day. I'm like, it is a stupid fucking loop. Pardon my language. That I always get trapped in this damn loop. And beating myself up in the middle of this, it occurs to me it is not a loop, it's a spiral. And when I had this, I'm like, other people need to know this, that are trying to come out of, to overcome their addictions. I know I am not the only one feeling like I get caught in a damn loop. Um, when the addiction started, it started way up here, and you began it, and time would go, and it's a spiral. You had to go down the spiral, right? It's a downward spiral with addiction until you reach rock bottom. Um, so as a spiral goes, it's wider up at the beginning, and as it goes down, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until you crash. Till you can't go any further. You're at rock bottom. And the only thing left to do is to go back up. The only way to get out of that rock bottom is to go back up the spiral. So when we begin fighting an addiction to beat it. We are down here at the bottom at this really tight coil, and we're fighting the urge, but really quickly, since the coil is tight right down here, that urge comes right back around. And we might, that first urge, fight it. But as soon as we get past that urge, it comes right back. Because remember, we're at the bottom. It's as tight as the coil can be. And we might give back in, we might give in to that second urge, or maybe we don't give into it until the third or fourth urge, but we ultimately we give in. We give in to that urge. And once you give in, giving in may last a few days, it may last a few months, it may last a year or two. It depends on the level of the addiction. Like smoking, my first time trying to quit smoking was the end of 2002. It was like fall of 2002. That lasted 4 days, I think. And then I went 2 years before I tried again. And it took me until 2016. 2016 was the last cigarette, and that's both a regular cigarette and e-cig or vape or whatever you want to call it. That's the last I've had any nicotine, period, is 2016. But I started that in 2002. It took me 14 years. But again, it depends on the level of addiction to when you give into that urge, how long that will last. But ultimately you will come back around to be like, all right, I have to give it another go. So you're going up, and anybody that's been doing this for a while, you know the pattern. You'll maybe make it 4 days this time, and then you'll go a few months, and then you make it maybe 10 days, and then you'll go a few weeks. Or maybe again, you'll go a few months, and then sometimes you feel like you fall back. You make it 6 days the next time you try. But it still tracks. You're going up the spiral. But every time you come back around to that urge, you understand it from a higher level. You're figuring out how to fight it from a higher level of consciousness, from a higher level of understanding. It's a learning process. But especially while we're down in it, where we're in the tightness of the coil, it feels like a loop. It feels like a loop. You feel like you're never going to make it. You feel like you're a failure every time you give in. And that's just not the case. You have to go back up the spiral to break free of it. Because eventually you'll get to that top of the spiral and you will never come back around. You will either break free of the spiral completely, or the spiral will be so large you won't come back around to the urge ever again in your life. So whatever way you want to look at the spiral there. And I just thought that it made me quit beating myself up, because as I have said in the other 2 videos talking about beating the addiction to kratom, you can't beat yourself up. You have to be patient with yourself and give yourself a lot of love. A lot of love, and understanding. And if you can understand you're going back up the spiral, now it's not an excuse. It's like, well, I gave in. Well, I'm on the spiral. It's okay. I'll just have fun for a little bit. No, you still want to try to, don't give yourself a pass because you're on the spiral. That's not the point of this. It's understanding this is a part of the process. When you've re-entered the urge, you gave into the urge and you're back into that addiction, the whole time you're gonna have to come out of this, because this is not for you anymore. You can't continue to do this. So again, this is not a pass, but it's a way to understand what you're going through, so you don't get mad at yourself and you don't feel defeated. Because if you feel defeated and if you're mad at yourself, you're going to stay stuck in the giving in phase longer. No, it's a part of the process. You gave in. You're going to come back out of it and you're going to do even better the next time. You've got to believe in that. You've got to know that, and you've got to tell yourself that repeatedly. When we get caught in negative thought patterns, we manifest it. If we're like, I'm a failure, I'm no good at this, I suck, I'm never going to be able to, it's not that you're never going to be able to, but at that moment, while you're saying all those things to yourself, you're not going to come out of it because you're telling yourself you can't. So if you understand, okay, I gave into the urge, I'm climbing back up that spiral, I've got to get a hold of this, I'm not mad at myself, part of the process, we're going to do better next time. Maybe you'll climb up that spiral faster. You won't get stuck in that give in stage for so long, because you're empowering yourself instead of beating yourself down. Because if you're beating yourself down, how can you go up, right? So I don't know. I thought this was really good information and really helpful. So I had to share it. I've wanted to share it for about a month now, but I've been kind of in a lazy phase. Well, I wouldn't say lazy. I'm doing a bunch of other things. I had a month or so where I was processing grief. I lost my cat very unexpectedly. He was relatively young. He was only 5. He had an asthma attack on the way to the vet. And even they tried everything they could to save him. It was too late. I still cry myself to sleep at night some nights. I'm not going to let myself cry now. Because I miss that little booger and I blame myself for it. So, yes, I've been going through some shit. So, that's part of the reason why I'm slow to get here, and share this message that I know other people need to hear. Sorry, I teared up. Okay. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of other stuff. And it's been busy. It's been really busy. But I hope this helped you. Remember, build yourself up as you go up that spiral. You're gonna hit those urges, and if you give in, it's okay. It's a part of the process. Know it's a part of the process, and know you will come out of it, and you will do even better. And eventually, hopefully quicker, now that you know not to beat yourself down, you will free yourself of the spiral. So, yeah, I hope this helps, and I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.